Tonight, when you fall into deep sleep, the neurological network that makes you, well, you, is going to be completely wiped out. Welcome to our deep dive into an article from Spiral Seeker titled, Why Your Brain Deletes You Every Night.
It is quite the concept to wrap your head around.
Right. The mission here is to totally shatter that comforting illusion that sleep is just, a gentle restorative rest. We are looking at a radical, measurable neurological deletion you undergo every 24 hours.
Okay, let's unpack this. How is this a literal ego death and not just being unconscious?
Well, it really comes down to what the brain is actually doing when you hit stage 3 slow wave sleep. Because during the day, your sense of being you, your persistent identity and internal narrative is run by a specific neural architecture called the default mode network.
That's basically the hardware running the ego, right?
Exactly. But in deep sleep, that entire network goes functionally absent, like it just drops off. The complex electrochemical signature of your waking mind is replaced by uniform low-frequency delta oscillations.
Just slow waves. Yeah, basically slow, synchronized waves just sweeping across the cortex, washing away that unique signature.
So it isn't like putting a computer to sleep, where all the apps are paused and just waiting for you to wiggle the mouse. It's more like pulling the plug and executing a hard system reboot so the IT department can swap the RAM.
I mean, that is a much better way to look at it. The hardware running the ego process is deliberately forced offline.
Which makes me wonder, if the brain is pulling the plug, what chemical switch is it flipping? And here's where it gets really interesting, because of the overlap with psychedelics.
Oh, absolutely. What's fascinating here is that the neurochemistry of falling asleep actually mirrors the pharmacology of psychedelic ego death with incredible precision. While you are awake, neurotransmitters like serotonin and norepinephrine keep that default mode network active.
They keep the engine humming.
Right. But at sleep onset, those levels just plummet. By the time you reach deep sleep, your serotonergic tone is at its absolute minimum.
Meaning the serotonin is basically drained from the system.
Correct. The brain is chemically silencing the exact same neurotransmitter system that psychedelics like psilocybin and DMT modulate to induce ego dissolution.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that dropping a massive dose of a psychedelic and just going to bed on a Tuesday night are computationally identical?
At a network level, yes, they really are. Psychedelics compress the collapse of the self model into minutes, whereas sleep is, well, it's a gradual, controlled maintenance protocol, but the endpoint is the same.
Shutting down the default mode network.
Precisely.
So what does this all mean? Why on earth would evolution force us through such a vulnerable, extreme state every single night? Like, why must the ego be destroyed to rest? I guess to defragment hard drive, you have to close the operating system first.
Yeah, that is the perfect analogy. Because your self-model is a highly expensive operating system. It consumes about 20% of your brain's entire metabolic budget. And over a 16-hour waking day, it accumulates a massive amount of noise.
Just mental clutter.
Exactly. Irrelevant associations, unresolved prediction errors, emotional fragments. If that noise just built up forever, the system would completely lose coherence.
Yeah.
So deep sleep is garbage collection.
Wow. Literal physical cleaning.
Literally. A biological mechanism called the glymphatic system physically flushes metabolic waste out of the brain, while a process called synaptic homeostasis kicks in.
Break down synaptic homeostasis for me. What exactly is being balanced there?
It is the pruning away of all those useless, noisy connections formed during the day. The brain is physically weakening and scrubbing synapses to save energy and space.
Oh, I see.
And you cannot preserve the complex structure of the self-model while simultaneously altering and pruning the very synaptic weights that encode it. The substrate itself is being cleaned.
So the ego literally cannot stick around to watch this happen because it is built out of the exact materials being scrubbed. That completely reframes what it means to wake up in the morning.
It really does. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it brings up this fascinating philosophical puzzle called the teleportation problem.
Right, because if the you from yesterday was fundamentally dismantled to clean the hardware,
then the you waking up tomorrow might just be a brand new instance booting up from whatever cached backup memory survived that overnight pruning.
which is wild. Your sense of continuity is just the new instance's inherited belief that it is the old one.
Yep.
So if you are neurochemically annihilated and rebuilt from a backup every 24 hours, how many times have you already died?